In this tutorial, you'll learn as a pastor or teacher how to create your own on-screen teaching notes without having to rely on a program like PowerPoint or Keynote. Now, the first step in this process is downloading ProPresenter. So head over to renewedvision.com, go to Download, and then ProPresenter. There you'll find a download for the Mac or PC, and you can download this and use this for free indefinitely. It just operates in demo mode. Now, the only restriction of demo mode is that there's a watermark on the output if you're using it in a live environment. But if you're just creating presentations to send to a live production machine that's already fully licensed, it doesn't matter. You can create those presentations and send them off and you'll just be fine. So once you've downloaded and installed, we can get started. When you first open ProPresenter, you'll be brought to the Information Center. We're just going to skip over all of this and get started with creating our first teaching notes. So I'm going to go to the lower left-hand corner and I'm going to hit the Add icon and we're going to add a new document. Now here we can name this document and we're going to name it our sermon or teaching title. Then we can set a category for easy organization. We can set a size. So if you're using a standard definition screen, you'll want to use one of the first two options. And if you're projecting in HD, you can use one of the last two options. If you don't know what to do, ask somebody on your tech team or someone who actually runs your lyrics and they can help you know what size to use. The last thing we can do is use a template. Templates set the look of all of your text to help everything look uniform, and it comes preloaded with a bunch of different styles. I would recommend using some of the text-only styles, and we're going to just start out by using this Helvetica full page template, and then we can say New. Now let's add some text to our slide. So we need to go into the editor to actually add text, and then we can double click and start adding text. But like many of you, I'm not going to actually type in text. I'm going to copy text from my teaching notes. So I'm going to go find my teaching notes, and I'm just going to copy this text. So I'm just going to do Edit, Copy, and then we'll go back to ProPresenter, and we can paste this text in. So I'll just do Edit, Paste. Now what you'll notice is that our text doesn't look right. That's because it's using the formatting that we had of our text on the web. We want to use the formatting of our template. So what we need to do is instead of paste, we need to use the option Paste and Match Style. So we'll select Paste and Match Style, and now it's matched the style of our template. So now we can maybe line this up and make this left justified. We're going to throw in a couple dashes here because this is kind of a bullet list. So we'll just add a couple of those in. And now I actually want to reveal this in a bullet list fashion. I want the first line to be shown, and then I want to go line by line and show the rest of these during the presentation. Now this is really simple. All we have to do is select a text box, and then under text properties, we can go down to text reveal and set this to bullet list. Now you'll see a bunch of little circles here showing that this is a multi-click object. And what that means is when your operator is actually running this, the first click will show the first line, and then they'll click it again to show the next one, and so on to show all options. It's as easy as that. Now let's go back to the editor and add another slide, and we're going to do a fill in the blank. So again, I'm going to grab my teaching notes. I'm going to grab some options here. We're going to just copy these, go back to ProPresenter. This time I'm just going to right click inside my text box, and you'll see we have that same paste and match style option. So a paste and match style. Now I want positive, powerful, and predictable to be my fill in the blanks. So all I'm going to do is underline them using just the standard underline. So we'll just go in here and we'll underline each one of these. And then again, we're going to go down to text reveal, and we're going to set this to fill in the blank. Now anything that is underlined is now a fill in the blank. So I can click on this slide, and anything that's underlined is now removed, and now each extra click will show whatever was underlined. Next, let's look at adding in regular quotes and scripture. So I'm going to copy this text, and we're going to go through that same process that we've been going through, where we're going to go to the editor. We're going to go down here to the bottom and add a new slide. We'll right click and paste and match style, and now our quote's in here. I'm going to make it look a little bit nicer. Maybe we'll move this down to the next line and justify this text a little differently, and that makes that quote look nice. Now we get lucky because this quote easily fits on one slide. But if we go back and grab like this big chunk of text, there's no way when we paste this in. So again, we're going to do a new slide, right click, paste and match style. And if we look at this, there's so much text here, it does not fit on one slide. Now, I would highly recommend limiting text to 4 to 5 lines at most during your teaching time. So, how should we split this text up? Now, there's a couple different ways to do it, but the easiest way to do it is to use the reflow editor that makes it really simple to split up text like this. So, all we need to do is go up to View and down to Reflow Editor. Now in the reflow editor on the left you actually see editable text that makes up the slides that you see a preview of on the right side. So I'm going to scroll down to our big huge chunk of text here, and then right here after Father I can just insert slide break, and it's now split that into 2 different slides. So again, we can come down to this next one, insert slide break, and so on until all of our text is split up. So we can split this all up. This last slide has about 5 lines on it, so we'll leave that and call it good. So all of our text is all split up and it looks great, so we can close out of the reflow editor, and now you can see all of our text is ready to go for us. Now this is still editable inside the editor, so we can go in here and maybe this slide, we have this one hanging word and that doesn't really look great. We'll just move that, move this text box around to make it look a little nicer. And ProPresenter actually has some nice centering options, so we can move this and you'll see a little yellow line appear, and that helps us know we're back at center. So that's one way to add in scripture. The other way is to use the Bibles feature inside ProPresenter. Now I have an option here in my menu, but you can also go to View and down to Bibles. Now here you have an option of which translation you want to use, and you may not see an option there. So we're going to go to the settings for Bibles, and we can go down to Bibles, and here you can see any purchased Bibles. You can also purchase new ones, or you can grab some free Bibles that are in different languages, and there's also English versions. So you'll see all the different Bibles that I have here. We also have options for how these are shown. We can either show verse numbers, we can break on new verses, so it'll put each verse on its own slide. We can display the translation. We can preserve font color, which allows us to keep red letter text for Jesus. We can show verse references. We can put passages on each page or only on the last page, or no reference at all. Now I've chosen to put the passage on the last page only and break on new verses. So now we can go over and do a scripture lookup, and we can either type in a verse or we can use this handy drop down menu to go find something. So let's just go grab, Genesis 1:1, and it will pull that up. Now if we want to make that longer, we can just do dash and say 1 through 4, and now we can see that it's verses 1 through 4. Now this is an easy way to show this on the screen, but how do we actually add this to our presentation? Well, we go down to the bottom here, and we have a couple options. We can either save this as a document by itself, or what we want to do is copy to current document. So it's going to copy this into our currently selected document. So we can copy to current document, close out of the Bibles area, and then we can close out of the editor so we can see where it's added it in, and you'll see down here at the bottom it's added in all of our text. Now this text isn't using the right template, so what we're going to do is we're going to select this text, right click on it, and we can go to template, and then we can go find that text only style, and we can say Helvetica full page, and now it's using the same template as everything else. Now templates are very powerful and can help set the look of your text really quickly. Let's look at how you could use a template sent to you by someone else on your team. Now they're actually going to just send you a ProPresenter document, and then you can use any slides in that document to create a template from. So I've saved a document out as just template, but it could be named anything. I'm just going to double click on that, and it's going to say it's going to import it into our library. So now it's been imported, And then we can look here, and this slide is saying right click on the slide, go to template and select save slides as template group. So we're going to do what it said. So I'm going to right click on the slide, I'm going to go to template, and then I'm going to go down here and save selected slides as template group. Now again, it doesn't have to say that on there. It can be any slide that's formatted the way it needs to be, and you can save that out as a template. So I'm going to save selected slides as a template, and we're just going to call this our sample series. And we can hit save. Now we can go back to our sample teaching, and we can go to template, and we can go down to sample series, and we can apply this template to everything. So if you don't have any slides selected, it's going to apply it to all slides in your document. So we'll just apply this template, and now it's applied it to everything in the document and made our text look a lot nicer. Now, one other thing to know is that be sure to preserve text attributes when applying templates. This will make sure if you've done any formatting like justifying some text to the left side or putting underlines in or bolding text, it will preserve all of those things when you apply your template and not remove them, which is really important when formatting teaching notes. Now we need to add in some graphics. So if you've received some graphics from a graphic designer, or you have graphics that you're using for titles or backgrounds, it's as easy as dragging and dropping. So you can just locate those on your computer, and then we're going to just drag them in. So I have my sample series title here, and I'm just going to drag this and drop it in here. Then I also have my sample series blank, which I'm going to use as a background. And to add it as a background, I'm just going to drop it on any slide that has some text, and you'll notice it's given it a background icon versus a foreground title icon. So I can just drag and drop this onto all of the different slides that need a background, and it will quickly and easily apply this to all of these different slides. Then after we're done with this, we can go in and we can put our title graphic in between any of these slides so that we have a title to go to when we don't want text on the screen. So I'm going to copy this slide. And then after these 4 C's, I'm going to talk for a little bit, so I don't want to have those sitting on the screen forever, so I'm just going to paste. And same for these ones, I'll right click on this slide and it's going to paste after. And then down here we have our quote, we'll paste another one after that. Then we have our first passage of text, so we can go down here and after the end of this we're going to paste one in. And then we have our Genesis passage, and we'll paste another slide in at the end. So again, we have titles that we can go to in between points so that our graphic operator knows that as soon as I'm done talking about this C.S. Lewis passage, I can go back to my title graphic. Now, the last thing that you might want to do is import some sort of image that you've found to help with an illustration. And so how do we do that? Well, we're going to go to our editor. We'll go to the bottom here, and we're going to add a new slide at the very end. And instead of a text object, we can actually select that and hit delete to remove it. We're going to add an image object. So we need to find an image that we want to actually add in here. So let's go on the web. We can go to a site like unsplash.com that has a ton of great looking high-res free photos that you can use however you want. Because you can't actually just go do a Google image search and grab any image you want. Many times those images are copywritten and it's illegal for you to use those. So using a site like Unsplash will help you use copy-free, so there's no copyright on it, images in your teaching. So let's just scroll down here. There's some great images in here. And right here, I want to talk about an adventure I've had in life. And this is a great one to talk about, this epic adventure that I can have on the screen while I'm telling this story. So I'm just going to download this and save this to my desktop. And then we can go back inside ProPresenter, and in here you'll see that photo that we can now grab. So we're going to select that. Now you'll notice that this is not the same ratio as this slide. So if I would drag this out and make this bigger, it's not going to fill the page properly. The nice thing is that ProPresenter constrains proportions, so it's not going to skew the image. So I can just keep pulling this until it's the right size to fit the whole screen area. And then I can move it around to make it look the way I want it to. So kind of want to get a little bit of the glasses in there. We can cut off the camera at the top and kind of get this centered up and looking right. So now we've added that image in there, so now we can easily click on that image and show it, and it's filling the full screen, so it looks really nice, and I think that looks great. Now the last thing we need to do is actually export this so that we can share this with others. So all we have to do is find our document in the library, right click on it, and we're going to export as ProPresenter bundle. This will keep all of our images and videos and all of that stuff together so it imports perfectly on another machine. So we'll export ProPresenter bundle. We can save it again as whatever our teaching title is. We can set where it's going to be, and we just hit export. So it's going to export that out. Now we can take that file and we can attach it to an email, throw it in Dropbox, however you want to transfer that to another machine or give it to someone else to use. It's ready to go for you. Now, hopefully that answers all of your questions. If you have any others, please leave those in the comments below. I would love to help answer any of those that you might have. Thanks for watching.